Jill Duggar has released a bomb of a teaser for her new book, Counting the Cost, and I'm sure Jim Bob is not happy. I'm going to read you the teaser that was released, and in it, she claims Jim Bob treats her worse than he treats her pedophile brother, Josh. So this excerpt from her book takes place during a mediation session that she was having with her husband, Derek, with her mom and father. So, of course, Jim Bob and Michelle. Apparently on the way into the mediation session, there was a young woman outside that got excited seeing the Duggars and wanted pictures and to chat with them. And of course, Jim Bob was in full Jim Bob mode, smiling, laughing, and chatting with the young woman. So Jill starts off. "I'm sorry it took so long for this meeting to happen," I said. My voice was shaking a little and I could feel the breath stutter in my lungs. "There have been some very hurtful things that have happened, and so we wanted to sort it all out, to have a good discussion together. We love y'all, and I know we all hope to be able to restore family relationships very soon." In the time I'd spoken, Pops's body language had shifted. He wasn't smiling from the video and the girl outside anymore. Instead, he was sitting very still, lips tight, eyes locked in a scowl that had been sculpted out of rock. "That letter you guys sent." He stopped, like he was lost and didn't know where to go. He looked at Mom and she looked at me. There was no scowl on her face, no folded arms, just a look of pain. The pain of a mama torn by her baby. It was the most disrespectful thing I've ever read. Her voice was soft, but her words hit me harder than anything she'd ever said to me. I knew she was right, that she was speaking the truth. I didn't know exactly how I'd messed up, but I knew that I had. I'd hurt her and Pops, and that was never my intention. I heard Derek trying to say that we never meant for the letter to be taken that way. I looked at Pops. He was still scowling. "I'm sorry," I said. "We love y'all and could have used more care. We wrote the letter together and had hoped it would explain our feelings, but I know we kept adding to it and then we were tired and just figured we had better just go ahead and send it along." My voice trailed off as I tried to find the right words, but Pops wasn't listening to me. He had his own list of things he wanted to talk about. "You sent me a text message, Jill. You said I was verbally abusing you. I was so offended by that too. You know in your heart that's not right. Are you going to apologize for that?" I was nervous now. I remembered the message, remembered sending it in the hope that it might wake Pops up to how bad I felt things had gotten, to maybe make him give us a little space and let things calm down. I'd written about not wanting to be verbally abused, which was exactly how I'd felt at the time. I'd felt it in El Salvador as well. I wasn't sure that I could apologize for that. I glanced at Derek as I remained speechless. Pops must have sensed what I was thinking because he suddenly stood up. "You're not going to apologize? Really?" His voice was loud and there was an edge to it that I'd rarely heard. The moderator looked pale and was stuck on mute. Derek tensed, and I could feel him getting ready to step in, so I squeezed his hand, hoping he'd get the message. "Hold back. Please be quiet. Do not let this get any worse than it already is." We were facing each other from opposite couches, open space between us. Pops took a step towards me, closing the gap. It wasn't a gesture of reconciliation. It was an act of aggression. He towered over me, his body fueled with anger and his face flushed red, my eyes filled with tears. Then there was a long, awful silence that I wanted to fill but just couldn't yet. Derek's hand was shaking in mine and I squeezed as hard as I ever had, desperate for him to hold his tongue. "You know why you're crying, don't you? Your conscience is talking to you, that's why." Pop's voice was so loud in my ears, his words were like blows. I instinctively tried to protect myself and block him out. I curled up on my seat, trying to find safety in some kind of fetal position. "You're guilty," Pops was yelling, stabbing a finger at me, standing right over me. Mom started crying. Derek tried to speak, but I pulled him back. "You want to know why I'm crying?" My voice cracked, my eyes burning. "It's that you think I'm some kind of horrible person just because I wear pants and have a nose ring, and yet you see that girl outside and praise her. That's why I'm crying, Daddy. I'm evolving and changing, just like that girl out there, but you can't see it. You treat me like I'm a prodigal who's turned her back on you. You treat me worse than you treat my pedophile brother." I think we can pretty much gather from that excerpt that Jill has posted that she is speaking her mind in this new book, Counting the Cost, and I, for one, can't wait to read it. However, Michelle and Jim Bob aren't very happy about it, and this is what they had to say about it. Jim Bob and his wife, Michelle Duggar, released a statement to People saying, "We love all of our children very much. As with any family, few things are more painful than conflicts or problems among those you love. We do not believe the best way to resolve conflicts, facilitate forgiveness and reconciliation, or to communicate through difficulties is through the media or in a public forum, so we will not comment."